That's dirty.
Good evening. My name is Daniel Uhlfelder, and I may be the first victim of this new law, and I have a couple of questions about it. And I would like to say that Sheriff Adkinson, if he is not the best sheriff in the country, I don't know who is. But I think he's done a, I don't have a problem with enforcement of the law. I have a problem with the law. And what my specific question is, from what I heard Representative Drake say, is that there were some issues with the Walton County Customary Use Ordinance that led to them being, I guess, singled out, because I think it was delusion when other counties weren't. Why was that, those issues, and I don't know what they were because I think there were some court cases that found it to be proper. Was there such an urgency that you couldn't say, well, let's fix those issues with the Walton County Customary Use Ordinance and come back next year and not target Walton County?
I can answer that, and that's what's sad. It goes back to the dirty politics.
I know all about dirty politics. My dad's a lobbyist. and I know who paid for the lobbyist. I know that Seaside Town Council paid $50,000 for a very good lobbyist. I know how lobbying works. I just want to know, was that ever considered? Was it considered to say, hey, Walton County, there are some issues, and I don't know what they were, with your customary use ordinance? I thought it looked great. I mean, I think the county commission did a great job with it. I think it would have flown through the courts. I already did one. Did you all think about, hey, let's don't single out Walton County. Let's say if there's something wrong with Walton County, let's fix that, and then don't have us targeted. Or was it that the money got it done? And you don't have to answer it. It sounds dirty politics. That's what it is. And is that what happened? But you voted one time against it, and you voted for it. And what dirty politics got you to change your vote? If you want to answer.
Wait a minute, Mr. Uhlfelder, the dirty politics didn't get me to change my vote.
Okay, well, what was the dirty politics?
Okay, the dirty politics began this process to force Walton County into the pickle that we're in now. There are people.
I have a very specific question. I'm asking about, you raised in your statement that there was some problem, you didn't say what, with the Walton County Customary Use Ordinance that was passed. And that's why it was, we know why it was singled out. Because people with money picked Walton County. We said, we got a court case, we sued in federal court. I've read all the court cases, I know what they say. The Uhlfelder case. They went to federal court, Judge Rodgers ruled with Walton County. So what'd they do? They got some money together, and they got a law passed that basically is a land grab, attempt of a land grab for our property. And that's wrong. And I was in the beach for 2 days doing nothing wrong, and they used this law to threaten to arrest me. And I'm an American citizen. And Sheriff Adkinson, I have nothing against you. I think you are I should run your campaign. I mean, he is the best. I don't have a problem with the enforcement. I think that's my second question. Sheriff Adkinson, you said that at this point you're not going to arrest anybody. So I can go back out there Saturday and I can sit where I want to sit and not get arrested. Can I get that answer? Because I know you said... No,
what I said, so let's be clear. What I said specifically is we have not arrested anybody. I do understand your position.
I
said we have not arrested anybody. Right.
Well,
what I would suggest, maybe the opportunity, and you and I think we kind of discussed this before, is if there wants to be a test case, if you want a test case, then let's do that. I mean, I'm not
going to right now. We can test it out right now.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be that.
I'm dressed. I got my stuff. My family's in Atlanta.
That's a little bit more dramatic. That's a little bit more dramatic than we need. My point was, we can ask if that makes sense.
If that makes sense. None of this makes sense. That's the problem.
Yeah, but it does have some.
Okay, I was threatened with being arrested. I'm 45 years old. I've lived on every beach in this state, and my grandfather escaped this stuff in Nazi Germany. I mean, I know that's drastic, but I felt like a second-class citizen when I'm sitting there on the beach and some guy's telling me, and the sheriffs, they're just trying to do their job. But this is a bad law, and I think we all know that. Governor Scott knows it's a bad law. So let's fix the law, or let's just take a pause in the law. Why don't we just say, why don't we come back, or have I know a special session is hard to do, but I think Representative Drake, I think you were doing the best you can in the situation. I applaud you. I applaud all of you. This is not easy. Nobody wants to be up there. I mean, you're not getting, but I think this law is flawed because I can tell you it's flawed because I experienced it. And so I am a lawyer, and I just know this law needs to be working. I think we should, whatever needs to be done, tweak it, but I think Walton County was singled out because a bunch of people with a bunch of money went up to Tallahassee, and I know how it's done. That stuff paid for my law school, my dad's a law. So, I mean, I know it's dirt, it's the way the politics work, but this country needs to stop letting money run this country, and that's what happened with this bill, the dirty politics. That's not right. Let's just fix the law. And I mean, I'm maybe rambling on. It's hard to put a lawyer to quit talking.
No. I think one of the points is, and we kind of talked about this a minute ago, I think there is an option to do one of two things. Either A, which I would kind of I don't know, I would be very curious to see whether or not, forget a warrant for a second, but you and I have talked this before, whether it's an AG opinion or something. I would like to know if this, based on the fact, if they won't sign that, then it's de facto, right? I mean, that's from your standpoint. What is not probable cause. If they say there's too much ambiguity, which I think is the position that we're all taking, this is confusing, too much ambiguity, because trespassing requires intent, right? I mean, that's where we know. Right. And it's very similar to, we talk about the mean high tide water line. I promise you there's not one thing in this thing more misunderstood than the mean high water tide. Because half the time, a mini piece of property, you need to understand, it's in the water. It's actually in the water in some places. So when you hear people say mean high tide water line, and you picture this big amount of property, right, it's literally in the water in some places, some period of time. So I don't disagree with that, and I think maybe there is a mechanism to actually directly go to the court and ask them, absent an arrest, to give a thing, or to put a hold on it until such time as they give a judicial ruling. Because my position is, once we get to the point that that the court says there's ambiguity, or that this matter is under review, I don't think you can make an arrest from that point. That's kind of where we're at.
Now, we could all agree it's ambiguous.
Oh, I don't think
this whole law is ambiguous. And that's
anything that changes 4 times in 120 days meets the definition of ambiguity.
So let's scrap it and fix it. I think it can be fixed. Let's just scrap the law. I mean, there's good parts of it. I understand, Representative Drake. There's good parts of this. And I don't think there was an intent to do something wrong, but I think my experience in this law has been here 16 days. You've made a statement that you bring an arrest. Three position changes at least. Governor Scott has said, and this is what I brought to the beach. It's all torn out. He said, I brought this. He said, what, my wife goes down.
I'm just saying, let's go directly to the court.
This law, I try to use this because it said, Governor Scott said you could use this and go to the beach. It said in the newspaper. It did me no good.
You're not in jail. It did you pretty good because you're not in jail. So I mean, the reality is we need to get in front of a court. We need to get in front of a court. I 100% agree with you, but I think everybody here is aware that I can't make I don't have that option. I know, but
I think the law. I guess that my point is that the law needs to be fixed, and I think there's some good parts to it. But my experience in 17 days is that and I think Sheriff Atkinson, you said, I mean, either it's enforceable or not. Either there was trespassing or not. These guys said I was trespassing, so.
Yeah, and that's why, just because that's why nobody has come to jail, because we've made a position from there. We're not dragging people off the beach.
Well, I had 2 sleepless nights thinking I might get arrested, so.
You called me, I could still get to sleep, I promise.
Well, I was told, me and Mr. Gaffrey were told, if you don't move over here, he took my driver's license. He called my name in. He put my address in the newspaper and said, if you don't move, I mean, I take it pretty seriously. I mean, so I mean, I know, I appreciate you saying, but he told me a week. I mean, it's only been 3 days.
Sure, but you also know under the law, if I was a strict interpretation of that law, they could have put handcuffs on right there, correct? Correct, that is the law. Today, if they chose to do that,
trespass is usually only, I guess if I'm...
And the same, wouldn't you agree?
I just
Sheriff, and wouldn't you say the same existed before the law passed?
we're still not ready to do that.
I would like to know how many mines you've gotten since July 1st as opposed to before July 1st. Okay, so I think...
It's clearly changing.
Okay, so...
For sure.
So I guess I just want to know if that was considered to try to fix the issue with Walton County in that interim time period.
So, Mr. Uhlfelder, what you're saying is you want this fixed, right? You want a resolution on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think what we have is, I think that we should have, I think the customary, from what my interpretation would have.
What would you like to see? You said, first of all, let's go down this road. You said the law that passed, 631, is flawed. Can you tell me which portions are flawed so that I can work on them?
Okay. Okay, I got one, the burden. I think that was a good question. Why is there a burden of proof on the government to show that there's customary use when we have a Florida Supreme Court case from 1974 that said, why are we having to prove it? That's one. Is this appealable? What happens if the judge, is that a final order? Can you appeal that decision of the judge? Why do you not allow the individuals to have standing to challenge this process? Why are they, I mean, I could be here all day. I mean, nobody called me about the bill before it was written, but I think the Walton County thing, I think that, why are we singled out? I think if there's an issue with the Walton County customary use ordinance, I think, and I don't know what that is, I think that we shouldn't be targeted. It seems like Walton County was targeted for this bill, and so if we can put a reprieve on it so that we can allow whatever happened, because there's going to be I know you talk about lawsuits, but there's going to be lawsuits from this. So those are some of my, and I can send you some more, but I haven't slept much in a couple of days because this guy's going to go arrest me, you know. But those are some of those like.
Out as fast as I do it.
Okay, well, that makes me sleep a little better. But those are some of my. I think the fact that Walton County seems to be, and if I'm right, the only county that was affected. I think that if that was going to be the case, I think we should have tried to find out what could have been fixed with Walton County before that was brought in. That's our main concern.
Daniel, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I think I've been clear that I don't agree with the dirty politics. I 100% agree with you.
Okay.
That's what was shoved down our throats.
By whom?
You know who.
Well, I don't think they know. I know, but do they know? I have a list. I mean, well, you can tell it. Tell them. I mean,
This is a public forum. This is not a political forum, but we'll talk outside.
I don't really want to talk outside. I mean, I know they aren't raised in politics. I know how lobbying works. You pay to play.
One thing I do want to say that I think Mr. Uhlfelder is right about that I said to Senator Pasadomo, because this has concerned me quite a bit. I talked to some Tampa folks today and some other. We've heard from other people. They said, well, it doesn't affect us; it only affects Walton County. That's not true. In that, if other people start asserting that private property rights, I mean, just because they have not had the problem in Okaloosa County doesn't mean they won't have the problem. Just because they haven't had it in Bay County doesn't mean they won't. So it is a potential impact for the entire state of Florida. So just everybody understand that it has a real manifestation.
I think you're doing the best you can.
I guess what I'm saying is
I'm
that
sorry you're in this situation.
To answer your question, yes, I have a plan B. Okay. I have a plan C. I have a plan D. What I'm waiting on is to see if this works.
It doesn't.
Well, we don't know. The judge hasn't
I can
ruled
tell
yet.
you. It doesn't work when I go to the beach and I'm getting.
No, ma'am. It would be 100 years if you were fighting it as in litigation. No. We're asking for a judicial declaration.
But these other two counties, Nassau and St. John's, they got grandfathered in, right? What was different about their customary use ordinance versus Walton County that allowed them to get not in this situation?
I tell you what, this bill is House Bill 631. It was authored by Representative Katie Edwards. Why don't you call Representative Edwards? Your dad has her phone number, and ask her that specifically.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all's help, and I wish this bill was. I think I made my point.
Bonnie?